Here we have the Bodegas Gratias. Who are you?
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? I mean, it doesn't say that on the bottle. It is in Spanish, but I'm not going to put everyone through that.
Don't try that.
Couple of notable things: Vino de crowdfunding and Tinto multivarietal written on this label with a lovely little picture of all the family there.
Like it.
So yeah.
So these guys are brand new to the winemaking world. Crowdfunding, yes, absolutely. It was a crowd-funded project, which means like the local community clubbed together to fund it. Bunch of friends at a party. At this party were some winemakers, some people that work the land in Spain, and they wanted to get together to bring back to life a little particular region in Manchuela, in the south of Spain, down on the east coast, where the grape varieties were actually going extinct. You know, lots of parts of Spain now are dominated by growing the grape varieties that we might say are international favourites, your Tempranillo, your Garnacha, that sort of thing. And down in Manchuela, they've got some grape varieties that are fantastic, but you know, essentially nobody wants because they're not fashionable. And so they got together to bring them back to life. Bobal is one of them, a grape we absolutely love, and you could say is the signature of Manchuela. There's a whole bunch of others in there that even I don't recognise a lot of the names.
It says on the bottle, "I'm not a panda, but I am at risk of extinction." And these are the unknown grape varieties. Now, I've just taken my first ever swig of this wine. I haven't tried it till we sat here. That is different.
Yeah,
like that is not what I was expecting.
It's
like got a weird, like not weird. It's got this. It's really like fruity kind of florally-ness to it.
Yeah, I think it's like
really interesting,
like a cherry bomb, sort of sweet, almost like a.
That's exactly
like
it.
a cherry sweet rather than a cherry fruit.
Yeah.
It's a natural wine, so that might scare a few people. Natural wine, what does that mean? Is it going to be cloudy? You know, what is it going to be a bit off? You know, when you get these like weird natural beers and fruit beers and stuff like that, they're not for me at all. Natural winemaking, what does it mean? Well, basically means super low intervention. What do we mean by intervention? Well, basically getting in the way of the process. So many wines, good wines as well, are made, for example, using like yeast out of a packet, just like you might reach into the cupboard and use when you're doing some baking. These guys use the natural yeasts that are already like sat on the grapes or the leaves when they pour them in. Chemical-wise, nothing here. Now, we've talked about it in the past. There are actually around 120 permitted chemicals that can go into a bottle of wine without having to be written on the bottle. Sulfur is the only one that has to be written onto the bottle because it's an allergen. You know, some people can be seriously allergic, but the others do not. Don't fear, most of them are just sugars, sweeteners, and acidity. They're not going to kill you or anything, but they're not particularly great for the wine. They're not also particularly great for your head the next morning.
No. Yeah, I mean, we've had that before, that the powdered sugars and acids that they use to balance the wine rather than doing it in the growing tend to be the things that give you that really thick, fuzzy head. I mean, look, the amount you consume is never going to help, but those do definitely play a part in it. Natural yeast, the stuff that's on stuff, that's how they make like sour beer, isn't it? So
absolutely.
Is that why it's got that cherry kind of?
For sure.
As soon as you said cherry, I couldn't put my finger on it. That it really is.
Yeah, the natural occurring yeasts, they are sometimes they're called wild yeasts. They don't like the ones they get out of the packet generally don't impart flavour. You know, they're just quite muted. They do the job of turning sugar into alcohol and then go. But these ones, they bring their own flavour to it, and yet there is a sourness. There is like a sort of slightly more wild thing. You said flowers, didn't you? There is a wildness to them, which I think some people might not enjoy. Some people think, oh no, this is weird for me.
I think this is going to be a 2 or 3 sipper before you make your mind up, for sure. Because this is like I say, that first sip I took, I wasn't expecting it, and you know, I think it is going to just take a couple of sips, especially if you've tried one of our wines straight after the other, or you've had something with a particularly bold flavour before. You need to give this a couple of goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Something this bold. What's it going with?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I mean, straight away with the sour cherries, anything that you do like with a cherry sauce. I mean, I know this is a bit posh, but you know when you buy that duck breasts in Sainsbury's, and they come with
doing very well.
They come with a cherry as a treat. You know, they come with like a cherry sauce or something like that.
Closest I get to a cherry is a Sara Lee Dark Forest Gatto from Iceland.
Well, that might be quite nice.
Yeah.
Or if if you're making a gravy that is particularly fruity, you know, sometimes people like to put like a dollop of fruit jam in a gravy. It goes nicely with lamb or red currant. Yeah, that sort of thing. I think that would be super nice. I mean, I think this is only 12%, isn't it? And I think the flavours are still quite light, even though they're weird and interesting. I think if you kept it fairly cooled, perhaps chilled it, I think you could enjoy it in the sun as well.
I was just about to say, I think this could be a patio a patio reds. You know, someone that's like only drinks a red, isn't really into whites, or is trying to make that transition to something a bit higher acid. I think this could be a gateway.
Absolutely. These guys are super sustainable operation. They really are keeping it very. This is probably one of the smallest producers we've ever stocked. These guys are small on every level. You know, they've got a whole series of wines that we're going to try hopefully, and it's fantastic. I really enjoy them. They're different.
Very different. I mean, it says on the bottle, "Who are you?" Would be one of my new favourites.
Excellent. Cheers.